$12,000 in high interest debt. Help, according to this post on r slash personal finance by Enclave76. Interesting name. It's actually a pretty cool name. My girlfriend recently informed me she has $12,000 in credit card debt on two separate cards. 5,000 on one card at 17% APR and on the second card at $7,000 with a 21% APR. She makes roughly $42,000 a year. She lives with me and only pays for groceries. Oh my god. Like without even like continuing like more, think about that. She makes 42 grand, right, a year. I'm guessing that's before taxes, right? But so 42,000 minus 19,000, that leaves her only like 20 grand. Like say she were like able to actually like pay it off completely, like right off the bat. That's 23 grand left over. That's it. This is bad. This is bad. To put it even to like a better perspective, so 19 divided by 42,000. This is 45% of her income. That's horrible. That's on just two credit cards. That's not including any other debt. If she has basically any other debt, she's basically got more debt than half of her income, which is insane. So my suggestion to her was a balance transfer to a credit card that has 0% APR for 12 months and no transfer fees. I've never been in that type of debt though. See, here's the thing. This type of suggestion would only work in very specific circumstances. So let me give you a situation. I personally knew someone who had an 850 credit score. They were able to go 2 years with a 0% APR. They balance transferred close to like $50,000 from all the credit cards onto one card. But here's the thing, they were already making progress on the other cards in terms of paying down their debt. Like they were already changing their lifestyle around how they viewed money, how they treated money to the point where they were already making progress even with the horrendous interest rates, but did this because this basically would allow them to cut down the time in terms of like paying down the debt to an extreme level because basically every single extra dollar that this individual made went straight to paying off their debt, right? Straight to paying off their debt. If this guy's girlfriend or girl's girlfriend, whatever, whoever this is, doesn't like alter their lifestyle to the point where they could actually take advantage of the 0% APR for 12 months, then there's literally no point to do this, right? Because if you just do this balance transfer, stick this whole balance, the $19,000 onto this, you're still going to basically be shooting yourself in the foot. Like it's going to be a horrendous situation at the end of the 12 months if you've literally only been paying the minimum payment on all of it. So let's see. What do you say that is a solid plan for her? And again, it's basically a very specific circumstance to use it. Her monthly take home pay is roughly 2,200 before bills, which is just groceries, phone, insurance. Interesting. Edit, there's a 3% transfer fee, but the 0% APR is for 21 months. That's actually a pretty nice thing. She also only started her full time job end of January 2023. Debt was accumulated in 2022 from tuition, which is $5,000. The groceries unknown, therapy, $3,000, and interest gains with, I'm sure, miscellaneous spending also. I'm not asking for relationship advice from you, just knowledge on balance transfers or personal loans mathematically, as I've never been in debt, so have no reference points. The thing is, this is technically not a bad route to go, but again, this is only a good route to go if she is someone that is willing to basically put all of her extra money straight into basically paying off her debt. If she's not willing to do this, there is literally no point to do this then, right? Because what's the point of doing this? You eventually getting out of debt, hopefully, and then she ends up basically just going straight back into debt because she hasn't changed any of her basically lifestyle, right? Like that's a pretty big situation because it's the type of situation where, like, say that you're making 40 grand take home pay every year, right? But you're living paycheck to paycheck. Well, if you don't change any of your habits, next year, maybe you make $60,000, but you're still going to be living paycheck to paycheck because you haven't changed any of your lifestyle habits. They just basically increased with the income, so you're still living paycheck to paycheck. So people need to understand that this could be a very good tool for you into getting out of debt, but not if you don't actually utilize it. Like, another example is like, for example, the whole student loan pause. So many people have not been paying down their student loan debt, even though it's been paused for multiple years now, right? That is a bad situation to be in because now, pretty soon, they're going to start that whole payments again because it's going to be unpaused, probably in like August or October. And now people are going to have to pay debt that they could have potentially have already paid off, right? But because they didn't change any of their lifestyle habits or how they wanted to, like, use their money, they're now basically in the exact same position as they were 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever, now, without any change, even though they were given a tool to potentially dramatically change the course of their life, financially speaking. But let's see some of these comments. Personally, I think she should only do this if she structures her life to where she's willing to cut expenses, try to make more money, maybe work a side hustle, side job, whatever, part time job, do like Uber Eats, Uber, whatever it is to make even more money so that she could completely knock out this debt within the 21 months and have extra money coming in so that she could get, like, like a decent emergency fund afterwards and really take control of her finances, because you don't want someone to do this, end up going out of debt, and then getting right back into it because they just didn't change anything about themselves. It's like, another way to view it, say someone who's a fat person or overweight person lost 40 pounds and they ended up being healthy now. Like a healthy weight, like literally healthy weight for them, to where now they could actually potentially live like 10 years longer. But they didn't really make any like good habits when it comes to eating food, working out. They just basically crash dieted to that lower weight. Well, once they stop that crash diet, they're going to gain everything back and then some and be in a worse health position than they were before. So it's just something to really think about. Like, you got to understand, like, you can't just do this and think that this is like the end all be all. You got to be like, wait a minute, I need to make some actual changes so that I'm never in this situation ever again. Let's see. Let's check this out. It may sound counterintuitive, but unless you can explain how she racked up 12K in credit card debt despite only paying for groceries, a phone bill, and insurance while making thousands a month, balance transferring to a third card is not a solid plan. It points to a very likely scenario that once those first two cards are paid off, she racks up debt again, and now she's even more debt. Basically, like my overweight analogy, crash diet thing. So first, figure out how she got that much into debt in the first place. Second, figure out how much she has currently been paying towards that debt. Has she only been paying monthly minimums or paying more? Third, before you agree to help any further than that, you should probably do a full review of her credit situation to make sure she's not hiding any other debt or defaulted on anything that may impact her credit score. After you go through those steps and now you have a better grasp of the situation, only then would it make sense for you to actually take a more active role in helping her dig out of her debt. And by the way, keep in mind, these two individuals are not married. So, technically speaking, he might be able to give her advice, or she might be able to give her advice, or whatever, but can't, like, shouldn't be putting any money towards the girlfriend's finances. Let's see. This person said the post, original poster, whatever, says, agreed. I was helping her with her accounts last night and found roughly $5,000 of the credit card debt was her school tuition for when she was working part time all of 2022, which is when I realized she has put all of her living expenses essentially on that credit card for 2022. She's been paying 2 times the minimum payment, which is not enough, to try and dig out, but still hasn't changed lifestyle much. That is a very big issue. Like, this is a very big warning sign, right? Like, if she's not willing to change the lifestyle, again, no point to do any of this then. We'll be having a more in depth conversation this evening as I just found out last night. Yeah. So transferring to a 0% card with a plan to put money on the new card monthly, knowing my income would allow for it, helped me pay off significantly more than that and be out of credit card debt before the new card started accruing interest. And just like I said in that story about the individual that I knew, that literally transferred basically like 50 grand pretty much onto the one card, this is basically what they did. And they were actually able to pay off their credit cards before they had to pay interest. Like, that's pretty massive. I think the big question would be whether the math adds up for her to put down the right number per month before interest accrues. Let's see. So the original poster says, yeah, my quick math of getting it down to 0% APR for a while would save her hundreds monthly. I think mentally it would help her some too. But see, that's also a problem too. Okay, she might now think, oh, wait a minute, I only got 0%. I don't gotta make this like big of a payment now per month. Oh, I got this extra money to go out to eat now. Oh, I got this extra money to go maybe buy something that I don't need. That's the problem. And that's how these like these balance transfers catch a lot of people. Because mentally, well, typically, the person that got that crazy amount of credit card debt in the first place is the same type of person that will end up not paying down the debt while they have the 0% APR, which is insane. But it happens. Like, that's why they offer this service, because one, they make money basically on the upfront stuff where they charge the 3% fee or whatever for the total balance. But then also, they know probably more than 50% of the people are not going to pay off the debt. So now they have a customer that's on the hook for, like 29% APR on like a massive, massive balance, which can literally take them decades to pay off if they're only doing the minimum payment. Crazy. She needs to get a second job and throw all extra money against those credit cards. A 0% card isn't going to solve this problem. Agreed. And she ought to be taking home a lot more than $2,200 per month if she makes $42,000 per year. Need to look at her pay stub and make sure every deduction makes sense. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so now this is interesting. If she decides to go with balance transfer, make sure to read the terms and conditions carefully. If it's deferred interest, then it's actually accruing interest, but the interest is waived if you pay off the balance within the promotional period. But if you have balance the day after the end of the promotional period, then retroactive interest will be added to the balance. Ooh, that is scary. If it's not a deferred interest but regular balance transfer with zero APR, then at the end of the promo period, interest will be applied to the remaining balance if there's any. Yeah. Feel free to give your thoughts on this. Stay tuned, subscribe for more financial commentary. But this is a pretty bad situation to be in because unless she's willing to change her lifestyle, no point. If you want to learn how to get out of debt, learn how I got out of debt and grew my net worth, go to 40inbox.com or go down below.